And this Penn Point starts right now. What was I going to talk about? Oh, yeah. So, LOD. And you don't call him LOD. You call him Lawrence O'Donnell. Oh, by the way, this episode of Penn Point is brought to you by Squarespace. Let them do your website. You don't call him LOD. You call him Lawrence O'Donnell. And he's the guy that often filled in for Olbermann on MSNBC. And for those of you who get all like fucking uptight about me going on Glenn Beck, even though I don't agree with them, keep in mind I've been on the Olbermann show, and I don't agree with them either, okay? I mean, no show you go on, you agree with everybody on everything. But Lawrence O'Donnell and I, we love each other. He's an old friend of mine, one of my best friends. I love LOD. I call him LOD. When I refer to LOD, it means Lawrence O'Donnell Jr. And he's got his own show coming up. I guess it's already on now, called The Final Word on MSNBC at 10 o'clock. And he was in New York doing tests for this, which means he's just making sure they have the mic. I mean, he can do a show. He's been doing shows for decades. But I want to make sure that his whole crew is all together and tight. The crew is great, and the director's great. They're all cool and great at it all, but they have to practice a little bit. So they bring in dipshits to practice. Now, if there's a list you do not want to be on, and that's the list of guests they call when they are practicing a show. And one of the guys I was on with, another dipshit like me, had been one of the test guests on the Glenn Beck show. And I'd never seen him on, actual broadcast TV. He's just a practice guest. He's not a real guest at all. So I'm not on that list. Don't put me on that list. I don't want to be on the list of guys you call for shows you want to do in your living room that aren't broadcast. I mean, LOD was doing this for real, of course, but it wasn't being broadcast. And I was on it twice, 3 times, just practicing. Make sure the mics are right, all the prompter is right, the lights are right, and all of that. Make sure they can actually do the show, which of course they can. LOD's been doing shows forever. So I'm in there doing this, and it was the day, and she shows you how long ago this was, it was the day that the O'Donnell, who is not related to LOD, the O'Donnell had come out, she had said on Bill Maher, and Bill Maher had released it, had said that she was a witch, or she dabbled in she dabbled in witchcraft, which to me is like Samantha Stevens, which for those of you who don't recognize that's Bewitched, which when I was a child, the 2 women that defined sexy for me were Samantha Stevens on Bewitched and Jeannie on I Dream of Jeannie. Barbara Eden and Elizabeth Montgomery. 2 sexy. And I met Barbara Eden like in the 80s. She came to our show, and she was still so fucking sexy you would not believe it. They're talking about witchcraft. So they've got to do a fake panel on a fake show that doesn't get broadcast with LOD and some Christian guy. And then they had on remote, they had a witch, of one who follows the Wiccan religion. And LOD's job in this segment, of course, is to ridicule the witch. And my job is to ridicule the witch and to ridicule the Christian for ridiculing the witch. That's my job there. I'm going to be and LOD ended up turning it around and talking about, checking out my bullshit detector, and did I believe that this other O'Donnell, the one running for senator, is actually had this happen, or she was just bullshitting. And then this woman who is Wiccan comes on and talks about how the bad O'Donnell, not LOD, but the other O'Donnell, Senator Christine O'Donnell, how she was talking about satanic rituals in the Wiccan faith, which don't happen. So the Wiccan woman is talking about how they aren't Satanists, and Satan is a Christian thing and not a Wiccan thing, and paganism and all that. She's maybe I'm wrong about that time with paganism, and so she's talking about that. And then she turns out that she's this woman who helped veterans, people who died in action, soldiers, military people in the United States of America who had been killed and then were given a grave marker, would be able to put on it that they were Wiccans. And she also fought for them to be able to have atheist symbols on there, because there are many atheists who fight that. And she was speaking. Now, she's the one that's supposed to be the nut. Okay, so this is what LOD's doing. This is the crazy thing, LOD's show. He's having me on, and I'm not the nut. I'm there to make fun of the nut. I'm there to make fun of the woman who's part of the Wiccan religion. But the problem is that I'm such a nut that I agreed with every single thing she said. If you're talking about freedom of religion, then Wiccans are included, and we have to give them respect. And it's the same kind of thing that happens all the time. The Christian guy next to me is trying to trash the woman who is the witch because she's Wiccan and this is crazy and we need to make fun of her. And remember, this Christian guy believes in fucking zombie Christ. They have a religion where a guy comes back from the dead, okay? So, virgin births and shit, and we're supposed to make fun of the witch. So, I was on there with the Wiccan woman, and she was terrific, and I liked her, and I agree with her on everything. And best of luck. I mean, I wasn't on the real show. It wasn't really broadcast. When it really does come out, check out The Final Word with Lawrence O'Donnell Jr. on MSNBC. And I sure hope I show up on there as a real guest, not just a pretend guest. And by the way, if you're starting up a show, unless you've known me for 30 years, like Lawrence O'Donnell, do not call me up to do your test shows. Just don't, because I don't want it, okay? Thanks. Oh, I want to tell you who brought you this episode of Penn Point. And this was brought to you by Squarespace. And I want to tell you about this. Squarespace, you know, we have Penn and Teller website, and the Penn and Teller website costs like $1 zillion fucking dollars a month to have maintained, because we started it forever ago, and we still have the same people, and all of us are too embarrassed to tell them that they charge too much and that we could do it ourselves easily. We could do it ourselves with Squarespace. It's a publishing system for anyone looking to build a blog, portfolio, or any kind of website. You could do Penn Point with Squarespace. To put it in layman's terms, Squarespace is a tool that would allow you, your mom, I mean anyone really, your grandmother, to build a website that has the same functions found on some of the coolest whiz-bang pages on the web. If you already have a site, want to make it easier to use, no problem. Their newly launched Site Importer tool makes it extremely easy to move sites from other environments into Squarespace. They even have a ton of new social widgets, so no one will forget about your Twitter, okay? So this Squarespace thing is cool. As a Penn Point viewer, you can use the code PENN to get 10% off the life of your order. Go to squarespace.com to get started and tell them Penn sent you.